Are you wondering how to catch sheepshead from shore in Charleston, South Carolina? We're going to show you how to catch fiddler crabs and an easy location on how to find them, as well as where to go to harvest oysters for chum for sheepshead. So my buddy Matt, he just called me and let me know that the fiddlers are out running around. It's been pretty cold, so it's been pretty difficult to get the fiddlers. And as you can tell, there is a lot of stuff here. Right now, I just put a bucket and some other things in there. Got to try to hurry up because I'm trying to do homework. Trying to do homework for school, but I just found out that the fiddlers are out. So when you're going for fiddlers, you just need a bucket, shovel. There we go. So these fiddlers are going to be used tomorrow when I go out for sheepshead. I'm hoping to get some oysters or some barnacles and use that for chum as well, but we will see. But I'll be teaching you guys exactly how to catch sheepshead, as well as where to go in Charleston. So, and this is not going to be on a boat or a kayak. It's simply going to be from land. I'll show you maybe one or two different locations where you can go out and utilize these different techniques to catch sheepshead. Just grabbing the bucket now, but met up with my buddy Matt. He's the one that runs the offshore fishing guide service out here in Charleston. Sun's out, it's almost 80 degrees. It's been freezing the last couple weeks, and the opportunity to get fiddler crabs finally arose. So when you're looking for fiddler crabs, you just need to find their hole and then dig next to their hole. You may have to dig a couple times, but you're gonna get fiddler crabs. They're out, but they're not all schooled up, so we're having to dig for them right now. We got a couple, I mean not a ton. What I'm gonna do is use these as bait, and then I'm gonna go get me some oysters at low tide, crush them up, and then we'll use those as chum for the sheepshead tomorrow. Swung by home real quick to drop off these fiddler crabs and put them in little containers. This is where I put the fiddler crabs. I made these. Right there, see? There's some already in there, but I'll just take the ones that I got today, which is not a lot, but. So these are the fiddler crabs that I'll be using for bait tomorrow. And we're gonna go get oysters right now. So I'll show you guys exactly where that is. And that's my prime fiddler spot, is where we're going to get oysters. So now that we got all the supplies, we're gonna be jumping on the road from Mount Pleasant into Sullivan's Island, and from there we will be getting a ton of oysters. This is the spot where I usually get a bunch of fiddler crabs at low tide. As the tide's going down, I get tons of fiddler crabs. So you could probably pick up both fiddler crabs and oysters at the same spot on your way to where we're gonna be fishing tomorrow. On here, it's a big highway, and so I just pull over and there's a bunch of oysters that all go. The equipment I'm using is a bucket, I'm using gloves, and I'm using waders. The reason why I'm using waders is because there could be a lot of pluff mud out here, and I don't want to lose myself. So on this side, you can harvest oysters, okay? On the other side of the road, you cannot harvest oysters at all. If you walk down this bank, it's a lot easier. There's not a lot of pluff mud, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm just gonna follow this bank to where there's a bunch of oysters, and I'm gonna start harvesting them. As you can tell, it's pluff mud, but just not as deep. Oh, that's pretty deep. That's to my knee. So I'll try to do this with one hand, holding this. What I may have to do is harvest a bunch and then show you guys the aftermath. But I want to get the biggest ones possible. So this is just a big cluster that I pulled off. I want to leave the small ones alone so that they can grow up. So I'm just trying to get, a couple inches. That's good chum right there. Here's some big ones. Bunch of big ones. Try to knock off the ones that I'm not going to use. Throw that back. Yeah, it's good chum right there. Good chum. So as you can tell, it's starting to fill up pretty quick. I'm going to fill this up as much as possible. It looks like a lot, but once you start breaking it down for chum, it ends up getting smaller, obviously, because you're crushing it, and I want to have a ton of chum when we go out for Sheepshead. So that about does it. It's starting to rain, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack up. I'm going to bring all this to the car, and yeah, we got a 5-gallon bucket worth of oysters. Very, very simple. If you ever want to come down here and harvest them, you can. It's not difficult at all. I mean, you're 20 feet away from the street, so pretty awesome. Right here, there's just tons. You try not to damage the oysters as much as you can. Once you're done eating them or shucking them, make sure you recycle these oyster shells, because that's what the oysters grow on out here. There we go. That's it. We were here for about 10-15 minutes. I'm just waiting for the cars to pass, but everyone drives by this spot to go find a different spot. You know what they say in fishing tournaments, you drive over fishing spots just to find fish, right? I'll see you guys on the water. All right, boys and girls, today is the day we slay some sheepshead. Got the fiddler crabs, got the oysters. Now we just need to get tackle. We are at West Marine right now, and we're gonna be picking up the tackle. I'll show you guys everything that we're gonna be using once I get inside. All right, so we are looking for the hooks. Where's the hooks? Not this aisle. Right here. Perfect. Okay, so these are the hooks that I normally use. Is the size 2, just super needlepoint. Owner, these are really good for sheepshead. These are 1/4 egg sinkers, and then 1/2 ounce. And I never go above an ounce. If the current's too strong, then I'll use like a bank sinker. So this is a 1 ounce bank sinker.
So the swivels I use are the size 7 bill fishers. One of them's for a Carolina rig and the other one's for a drop shot rig.
So we have all the goodies. Let's go. Got the hooks, we got the weights, we got the swivels, have the line, have the chum, have the live bait. The wind has died down. It's much colder today than it has been the last couple days. And so I have like 3 or 4 layers on. But we're gonna jump in the car, head down to the spot, which I'll explain where that is when we get there, but really easy access spot, and I'll see you guys there. We just dropped off all the gear at Breach Inlet. That's where we're gonna be fishing today. The water is extremely murky due to the rainfall yesterday, which could make it very difficult for the fish to bite, and so I don't know how well the fiddler crabs will do, but I believe that the mussels will do really well. Yeah, so the cat's out of the bag. Breach Inlet is the spot. I have caught some monster sheepshead out here. I mean 22, 23, 24 inches, some big boys. At high tide, the water is obviously above the rocks, and that's when the sheepshead will come in and start nibbling off the rocks and stuff. That's a good time to fish for them. And then as well as low tide with incoming tide. As that tide slows down and starts changing and starts moving into an incoming tide, the fishing gets really, really good if you have chum. So you just go from the side of them, through the shell, be as gentle as you possibly can, and then through the top, trying really hard not to break the shell. Another way of hooking fiddler crab is going through one of the joints in the legs.
Since it's outgoing tide, I just swing my line underneath the bridge, and then the current, it'll bring it directly underneath me.
In order to turn this into chum, it's just a glove and a hammer. So if you don't want to get squirted, just put a towel over. Here you have it. There's a nice pile of chum right there. What we're going to do is we're going to walk across the bridge and toss them in on the other side, so that as the current's coming, it'll take all that chum straight to where our lines are in the water.
To set the hook on a sheepshead, you just need to reel down And once I feel the bite, I lift up and then I set the hook.
Woo. There we go. All right, so we did not get skunked, you guys. It's a little baby, but it's something. So, and that was with the mussels. Well, that was with the oysters. So I think I'm getting bites on this one. So I'm just gonna drop this Carolina rig down right underneath us. I chummed a little bit too, so hopefully that turns on the bite. Yeah, I don't know, it's just slow. Oh, there we go. That's a bite. That's a bite. Fish on. Let's go. Let's go. They're all babies though. I don't want the babies. I want the big ones. There you guys go. And release this guy back into the water. So how I'm hooking the oysters is literally just hooking them as best as I can. Alright, we're getting bites. I just dropped it down with the Carolina and a little bit of oyster. Third fish, baby! They're all small though.